We are eyeing two large systems over the next 14 days or so. The first one, which I've talked about quite a bit lately, is next Wednesday through Friday, but it's looking more like a Thursday, Friday type of event with all types of precipitation likely. And then um, confidence is increasing on another large system taking place. Well, one that will be probably stronger. A few days after this one, going into late next weekend and into the week of the 17th. So I wanted to dig a little bit more into both of them, with the one next week probably getting more attention because it is a few days closer. I posted this map this morning for that next system moving through. This is a pretty gutsy forecast, if you want to say, because it will change quite a bit. But there's good agreement between operational model guidance and ensemble guidance, which I will talk about all that too in the video, of a large system happening between the 15th and 19th of the month, and it is looking warmer, so there'll probably be a chance of a warm sector getting far enough north into Iowa to get severe weather out of it. And then, as usual, in a spring-like system, there will probably be a swath of snow on the northwest side of the system as colder air begins to move back in. Below is a look at the mid-level winds, which is trying to show us where troughing takes place. This is the jet stream, so a dip in the jet stream, as shown in the southwest portions of the country, that is a trough that is over there. And as we move into the middle to later portions of next week, this trough begins to eject into the central and southern plains. This is what it will bring in the snow on the north side into the Midwest and some icing potential as well. There will be a chance for severe weather on the south side, but that looks to say pretty far south, likely out of the Midwest. Now, taking a look at the upper air pattern, and it is a little bit different than yesterday's video. In yesterday's video, there wasn't like a clear trough in the mid-level pattern, which is indicating by the blue colors, and then the yellow in that is showing the ridging. So it has changed a little bit. It has become stronger, and the system is becoming a little bit more of a phased system, according to the European model, which is a better model than most other models. It is showing this trough actually being able to eject into the central plains rather than weakening and almost just going away. And this is a colder look as well. If this would verify, there will be a better chance for snow in the Midwest rather than the rain snow line being so far north. But I still think the storm track will be pretty far north to put the snow probably along the I-80 corridor or north. Yeah, I don't think it's going to get south of I-80 much. Now, taking a look at what the radar might look like the middle of next week, again, there will be changes, and I'm going to show more than one model because I want to show all the different solutions coming along. The European model, again, it's a little bit more phased than it was yesterday's model runs, and it actually shows an actual system developing the middle of next week. So this is Wednesday afternoon. It has a surface low in Colorado. It's likely that the low will come from Colorado, and they tend to produce good snows if you can get an organized system out of it. And then as you get into next Thursday, like next Wednesday night, Thursday, whatever, the surface low begins to move east, and then it brings in a swath of snow on the north side with a freezing rain threat and then rain on the south side. So my map kind of similar to this, but the new model run is a little bit further south than what it probably will be. I don't think the snow swath will be this far south. Honestly, I think it's made a little bit warmer than what this model wants to show. But in either way, it is showing an impactful system yet the middle of next week. But if you go to yesterday's model run, it didn't really have much. It had a less of a phased and a faster system, so that is allowing for a weaker system. Now, the GFS model, which is a pretty bad model, I will always say that it doesn't really have a system at all the middle of next week. It doesn't have much until you get to later next week, and even then, that system that's further south and fully rains. So the GFS model doesn't really have a system at all the middle of next week, but that is an outlier. Now, looking at the ensemble's probabilities of an inch or more of snow, I like to show this at this range rather than snowfall totals. And these are the chances of seeing an inch or more of snow with that system the middle of next week, and they have gone up since yesterday's video. There's now about a 50 to 70% chance of seeing an inch more snow in portions of southern Minnesota, northern Wisconsin, northern Iowa, and southern Wisconsin. This swath of snow isn't really big, so a shift in the track would be huge. And then this is a look at the freezing rain totals, and they aren't that high, but it is ensemble, so it's going to be lower than usual. But even in having an ensemble model show this freezing rain totals at all at this range, it's definitely a pretty good signal that there will be an icing issue with this system later next week, especially as you go east of I-35 and into Illinois and Indiana. I never said that the system will be major, and that is still the case, because these are the chances of seeing 3 inches or more of snow, and they are about 20 to 30% chance, or even lower than that. I do think the chances will go up a little bit on this model, but I'm not seeing a system that will produce a half a foot or a foot of snow, just because it is pretty fast moving. Now, even though next week's system needs the attention, and it will continue to get the attention over the next few days, I'm still very confident that the week of the 17th will be very active across the Midwest. The storm track will be through the Midwest, probably further north to the Midwest, but these ensembles models continue to show a big trough going up across the West around the 16th or 17th, and with some ridging showing up, these yellowish colors across the East. This is a clear indicator of a big system to move through on the 17th as well. Then as we get further into that week of the 17th, that trough begins to expand east. That will probably bring in colder air once again, but the active pattern will stay around because the storm track is going through like St. Louis, Chicago area, something like that. But if a system develops or moves through on the 17th, it's going to be a pretty far northern track. And that's why that map I showed in the beginning of the video, it showed that thunderstorm chances getting further north into the Midwest, because I do think when a big system moves through, before the cold air moves in, the storm track could be far enough north where some areas will probably get chances of thunderstorms, with the snow likely being in the northern plains or something like that. Like, that's kind of usual as you get later in the winter time. Looking at the mid-level winds on the ensemble model for around the 17th of the month, you can already see that there's a pretty big trough showing up, which matches the upper air heights that I showed you, with the trough showing up in the west, but a very strong jet stream, a very energized jet stream is showing up, and that is another indicator of a pretty active pattern moving in. There will probably be severe weather of some sort with this on the south side, but it is that time of the year yet. Well, there's still going to be snow in the Midwest, so it's probably going to be a classic spring-like system around the 17th of the month. Now, things could change, whatever, like usual. It's weather. But there's been pretty clear signs since this month started of the middle of February being active. And usually when it looks active on ensembles, there's usually a couple of bigger systems. So taking a look at the surface load tracks for the system middle of next week, these are different members of this model, and all these different load tracks is showing where the storm may track next Wednesday through Friday. Since yesterday, they have become a little bit more clustered together in that Kansas area or so. There's still one or two that goes north into Iowa or so, but most of these members are actually south of I-80, which kind of matches the operational Euro models. Maybe that southern track may verify a bit, but you can see that they are a little bit more clustered together yesterday, meaning confidence is increasing on the overall track of the system and the system actually happening. But this is a look at the GFS ensembles, and does it have anything done this time? But it does have a system with these more clustered surface lows later next week, and that's moving northeast. So it has a system, but a couple days later. And I do think it's behind. I do think the GFS will probably cave to the European model like it usually does. Behind a large system early the week of the 17th, it will probably trend a little bit colder again. This is a look at the European ensemble model, showing temperatures trending back to average to below average as you get to later into the week of the 17th. So we aren't done with the winter cold yet, But overall, it's going to be pretty mild until then. And one last thing before I end this video. This is around the time of that large system, around the 17th of the month, maybe as early as the 16th of the month. These are the temperatures from average, and they're looking very warm around that time, which is another reason to believe that there will probably be a chance of severe weather as far north as portions of the region, rather than having a full-on major winter storm. The snow will probably be pretty far north because if the temperatures are 15 degrees above average in mid-February, well, you can't really get snow out of that much. So definitely a pretty far northern storm track for the middle of the month. So the middle of next week is probably the best chance for the next 2 weeks or so to get snow as far south as Iowa.